Hey, hi. In this video, I will show you how to build a local generative AI application that can generate a text from the AWS foundation models, that is Amazon Bedrock foundation models. So here, what we do is, we're going to create a Python Streamlit application locally, and within that application, we will see, how we can wrap the Amazon Bedrock's foundation model, which will help us to generate the text easily, right? So here, this kind of local applications, is useful for a lot of business cases. So here I'm going to help you to how to install the Streamlight in your application, in your system, especially in your laptops. I'm using Windows laptops, and then how to also install the other prerequisite that is needed for this particular lab session. Then we see that how we can build a local generative AI application that would act as an assistant from your local system. And then we can see that here a text gets generated based on our the prompt queries that we asked with the uh, Amazon Bedrock foundation model. So let's get started. I'm going to walk you through the source code, and then we also see the demo right away now. So this is my VS Code. So in this VS Code, I have a file called text generation. The other one is a command file, and the other one is print bedrock models. So here, this application, this Python Streamlit application, can enable you to give multiple options as the foundation models for text generation. So in the sense, we can build a drop down where we can provide a multiple foundation models as an option to choose in, and then ask for the prompt. I will show you how to do that. But to add those drop downs in the Streamlit application, we need to know the IDs of the foundation models. That is where this Python script I have written to just to list out what are all the the foundation models available in your AWS account. So here, before I run this script, I will just let you know the another prerequisite here. Make sure that your system has the AWS CLI installed, and then you run the command called AWS configure, right? And then once you hit the AWS configure, it will ask you for AWS access key, secret key, and then default region, and then the output of the format. So once you give this input, what happens? You are setting the context of AWS account. To verify if you have already set the context correctly, you just type like AWS STS get caller identity. So once you run this command, what happens is, if this command returns something, which means that you have already set the context clearly. Now you can easily run this script. Okay, so I will share these two scripts. One is the text generative generation py, and print bedrock model. So I'm going to share these two files in the video's description. You can use it from there and try to learn from there. All right, so here let's try to see in detail, right? So this is basically here, as I said, make sure that your system is installed with the Python Boto 3. So Boto 3 is AWS provided Python SDK, that is software development kit. So if your system is installed, so you can directly jump for this particular script. Here we are importing the Boto 3 model and the other the default models like JSON and OS. And then so here I'm creating the client of Bedrock. So we are creating the Amazon Bedrock client by using boto3.client, and then this is the my application name. So it creates a client here. So with using the client, we are calling the Boto3 model functions. The functions being like list foundation models, right? Then from within that, when you run this particular Boto3 command, you will this variable will get all those foundation models list, and from there we are just listing the IDs of the model. I mean, basically model IDs available in your AWS account and in your region. So here remember that we are set the context of US West 2. So whatever the foundation models available in the Amazon Bedrock in region US West 2, so those will be listed here. So what I do is I'm going to run this script, and let's see what are all our foundation models are available. So there are a lot of foundation models available here. So here we are dealing with the text generative AI. Okay. So far now we're going to play with the just Amazon, the text generation, because that is a little bit less costly, right? So this is the approach that you can list out the foundation models, and based on your provider, you can choose the model ID and go and develop the Streamlit application, something like this. Now let's go to the our main course, that is basically this one. text generative .py, text generation.py. So in this one, what I do is I'm going to walk you through this, and then then we're going to run this script, and we will see that how does this application looks, how it benefits the the developers or any business users, or how does it benefits any business process to use this application locally in their system. We are not hosting it on premises or cloud anywhere. Just run this application locally and use it. That simple is that. Now, what we do is, so here the prerequisite is, since we are using the Python, the development kit. So Streamlit is an open source module that you can install it, and this is a module used to build an application. So the application that build the local applications generally. And when you build a application here, you don't need to write the HTML and JavaScript or Node.js. So those are a little bit difficult things. So here Streamlit comes with the capability that you can use the Streamlit Python module itself and then build the application UI without interfacing or without interacting the HTML or without writing the HTML and JavaScript files like pure developers, right? So here in my system, I have already installed the Streamlit like this. That is, if you see my screen, I did pip install Streamlit, so that got installed with the Streamlit. And then Boto 3 is, I know I have already installed the Boto 3, so all modules that is needed for my application is ready now. So that is where we are constructing the imports. So here I'm importing a Streamlit and then creating ST, that is Streamlit basically. Then import the Boto 3. So we are importing the Boto 3 here, and then basic models, that is JSON and logging. So we need a logging because I want to track whether how the code is flowing. So that's the reason logging model is imported. And then handling the Boto 3 core or Boto correlated client errors. So that's the reason we are also importing the client error as well. Now I will slightly go down and try to walk you through the code. So first one is setting the logging. So we need a logging object to be set, and then use that object to track the logs. So for that reason, we are using the logging, the module, then call the logger function out of that with the default name, right? And then after the logging is enabled, so we are doing a basic configuration, that is, info level. So generally, so in this case, I just wanted to track the information. So just I have added the info one. The next one is constructing the Boto client setup. So here I'm creating a Boto 3 client. Remember that. So the client slightly changes here. So the client is Bedrock runtime. So not a Bedrock. So it is Bedrock runtime. In the sense, you are interacting with the Amazon Bedrock services like foundation models, right? And that is where our client gets ready. And this is where now starts the constructing an UI, that is Streamlit UI, by like this. So the constructing the Streamlit UI, like very simple web page constituting like a text box, drop down box, button, right? And then basically, yeah, very simple UI constituting these objects of the user interfaces, right? And that is what we are doing with the Streamlit. The first one is title. Any UI page needs a title, so that's the reason the title has been added. And approach is very simple, right? So we are not writing HTML file and then constructing those divs, complex divs thing, right? So we are not doing that. We are just calling the Streamlit module and then calling a function called title, passing the value of your title of your UI, that is model selection and text generation. And then this is the basically model option. So since I said, we are giving the model drop down so that user can select it and generate a text out of it. Some user need or needs some foundational model, some other user needs another foundation model. So that depends on the use cases. So you can have an option to choose the foundational model. So those model options are being kept it here. The one is Cloud A instant. So basically, we are having a lot of options which I showed you earlier. So out of those, I just selected this key value pair. Keep model option as key value pair. So key becomes your drop down value, while the actual value of that particular drop down selection is this one. So basically, the UI will pass this value, but it will present you the name like this because this is a friendly name and this is the actual value of that particular selection, right? So likewise, Amazon Titan, and this is the Amazon Titan, Titan text express version one, like that. Okay. And then we go to the next one, that is basically select a model. So there is basically again we are creating a, here we created the model option, and then we are creating a selection box which is nothing but drop down box, and the value in front of that is select a model. So the here the selection box is nothing but list of keys, the keys that I have added in this particular dictionary, right? So that is nothing but our object of select models. And then similarly prompts. Prompt is, you see that here it is a text area of the Streamlit, and within that, you are adding a variable called enter your text. Similarly checkbox, which is nothing but a checkbox, a tick box, and the value is streaming. That's it. And then we have built a function. So this is the Python function. This function which actually generates the text by reaching to the Amazon Bedrock Foundation model. So this is a function. It has Bedrock client, model ID, system prompts, messages. So basically, these are all the parameters needed to generate the text. Now let's go down. So this is a function walkthrough now. So here is where we are doing a logger. That is nothing but logging a message saying like, hey, I'm starting to contact with the model to generate the text. Then this is a temperature here. Then the interface, basically inference config. So this is basically inference config here. And the streaming. So you see that why streaming? So here we have chosen a button called streaming. So if you want the output to be given in the form of a stream, then streaming should be checked on. So if somebody checked the streaming, then the Boto 3 APIs that I need to invoke would be different. If somebody does not check it, in the sense it generally gives the output in one shot like that. So if somebody checks in the streaming, so it has to call the some other functions under Bedrock client. So under Bedrock client, so we are going the converse stream, and then this is a model ID, message, prompts, right? And then these are basically nothing but syntax of Bedrock client and calling this converse stream function. This is a response. So within the response, we are getting a stream of the values, and that value gets streamed down. Okay. So when there is a output for that particular value, so how are we adding into the text area in the form of a stream? That is what the next logic is. So here we are creating basically a placeholder for streaming the text. So this is a placeholder we are creating. Full text is, we are just constructing that, basically it's an array of string like that. So, okay. From the stream, we are getting, we want to retrieve the sentence by sentence. So that is what being done here. That is output text, full text, and then the placeholder. So placeholder gets added. So basically it's just a trick. You can copy paste this value. It should be working. And the metadata. So basically, the output contains content block delta, and then metadata. Metadata is nothing but how much input token is consumed, how much output token is consumed. So that also I want to show. So that's the reason those values are being captured here in the metadata. So metadata, if it contains a usage dictionary, out of the usage dictionary, I want to extract the input and output, and those values are being kept it here, and that's it. So that values are being given as an output. So here is our full text, input token, and output token. Those are all the values we are basically returning if it is a streaming checkbox. If it is not a streaming checkbox, then a little bit slightly different. So instead of converse string, it is just a converse here, passing model ID, message, system prompt, and inference config is given. So this is a response here. So in the response, we are extracting the message, right? From the message, we are just conducting the output message basically, right? And then, so basically we are returning this much. In the sense, if you see here, the output text, input token, and output token. Similarly, what we have done for the, when you checkbox the streaming. So when you don't checkbox the streaming, so that is the code for it. That's it. Okay, so that is all about the Python function called generate conversation. Now let's go down. So we are still not done with the code here. So when you click on a button called generate, so that is where it has to call that function. The function just now I walked to, and then get the output out of it, and then put that out of output in the Streamlit application. So that is what this does. So here is our model ID. So if the model ID is not equal to this one, in the sense, if it is Amazon Text Express other than Amazon Titan Express, then you have to basically educate that or basically train that foundational model. So that's the reason it needs a system prompt that is called text. Hey, you are the useful assistant. Help us with this, something like that has to be passed in. So that's the reason we are constructing these if else model to check if it is not a Amazon Text Express version 1. And then the message. So you see that message has the the array, right? All right. So this is the messages. Okay. And then we are calling the function. You see that we got the client, we got the model ID, we got the system prompt, right? We got the message, we got the streaming, what is being selected in the streaming, all right? And then once you call that function, it returns three outputs. Those three outputs are now used down to present in the UI. So display the generated response like this. If it is not a streaming, then generated response is directly added into a text area like this. So height is probably 30. So you can increase and decrease like that. And value is nothing but our output text here, right? And similarly, input and output tokens are passed down the line, right? So likewise, so that is basically very simple application here, right? And then if any errors, so those error handling is been configured here, written here to catch any client related errors. And if anything finally, right? So finished generating the text with the model. So that is something it will give it output in this our VS code. Okay. Now to run this this application, I'm gonna run a one command called something like this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to run the command. So basically, you need to run this command like this. That is Python hyphen module. That is nothing but a Streamlit. With using that module, run this particular Python script. So that is how basically you need to run a Streamlit application locally. So I'm gonna run this application in front of you since we have already walked through. Now here you go. So once I click on that, it's automatically opening in the my default browser, that is basically Edge browser, right? And you can see the output here in the VS Code that hey, go and browse this particular URL. You will be accessing the application. Okay, so not only in the Edge browser, I will try to browse it in here as well in the Google Chrome as well. So you see that. So this is how basically a cool application looks like. Here, we are not only just helping you to understand the text generation of using the Amazon or basically AWS foundation models, AWS Bedrock foundation models, but also helping you to understand how to use the Streamlit applications locally, right? So now this is beautifully how this is how cool this local application looks like. All right. So I will also try to access this one. I don't know. So I have not tried, but I'm happy to try this in front of you. So let's see what it happens if I run this one. Here you go. So it also runs on that particular network URL as well. But localhost is fair enough. Now I want to use my application and check if it is giving me the response. All right, I can do that. So why do we need to this kind of application is we need some secure. There could be any businesses that needs a secure business process that does not need to connect to the internet, but need our application to be running and also need certain knowledge like Amazon Bedrock foundation model provides. So in such cases, this application is very useful. I can help you to build this kind of application for your business use cases where it needs to be run locally. And of course, using the AWS foundation models capability remotely. All right, so here we're going to choose our favorite one, that is Amazon Titan. So this is where we need to write our prompt. So prompt is nothing but you ask any questions to the Amazon Titan. So let me say explain. Let me say explain an example Streamlit application in Python. Okay, so I'm asking reverse question. Okay, so I want it to be streamed, so I'm going to click on this generation. You see that there's a magic happening here. Stop and deploy is there, right? So we are not deploying this one. We can cover those later. You see that it is basically acting like a mimicking the streaming basically. Yeah. So looks like it is has retrieved some informations. Since by the way we are restricting the output here, right? Let me not stream it, but let's try to run the another option that is directly generated. Let's see what it generates. So in this case, it gets the answer directly. So here is where we are getting the response. It says that in Python, Streamlit application is a web application built on top of the Python. It is open source Python library that allows you to create an interactive web application using Python code. Streamlit is designed to be simple and easy to use, making it accessible to the developers for all skill levels. So that is how basically the Streamlit application is. So you can ask any questions if Amazon Titan foundation model knows that knowledge, so it will try to help you. So that's all basically a simple uh, web application that you can build with using the Streamlit, and of course elevating the Amazon Bedrock's foundation models capabilities to generate the text, or we build a generative AI application using the power of the AWS foundation models in Amazon Bedrock. That's all for now. Thank you for watching my videos and see you in the next video.